And as promised, welcome back to the TD Garden. We have Marco Sturm, 30th head coach in Boston Bruins history, on set with us with, of course, Judd and Brick. Marco, thanks for being on our show. We've been watching you do the media tour. I'm going to embarrass myself here, but try to say Willkommen zurück in Boston.
Oh,
how did I do?
Dankeschön.
Okay,
yeah,
very good.
So you did good. Yeah.
As I said, we've been kind of watching you do the tour, and that's going to be where my first question starts with you. It wasn't going to be here, but just in understanding the, the impact. This isn't normal for all NHL franchises to cover this day with so many people. Your day is going to be a very long one, and I know it's the day that you're being announced, so I know you're prepared for it. Yep. But from playing here, this is going to bleed into the season. The media, the questions, the attention. How prepared and how much are you going to embrace that as the head coach?
No, I know it's part of it, right? It's part of the gig, especially when we're in Boston. So I know it as a player, so that definitely helped, all right? And it will help. It's not going to be pretty all the time, just like today. I know that too. So having that experience, I think it will prepare me a little bit better going into the season.
In terms of the job, now that the process is completed, you're now the new head coach of the Boston Bruins. There were a number of issues with this team from a year ago when you don't meet expectations and you lose. Mm-hmm. I'm just curious, the first order of business, is it all about preparation for training camp?
It is. I mean, first of all, I think my staff has to get completed first. I think that's right now, and then after that, yes, absolutely. It's about us. It's about our system I want to put in place. It's about training camp game day one, because what I'm hearing and coming from a lot of players, they didn't have that good training camp coming out last year. Could be different reasons. I really don't care, but I think not under my watch. So I think that's something it's going to be different. It's going to be good. It's going to be a new voice, right? I'm going to demand a lot, but I also I'm going to push it right from day one, because I know how important it is.
And you know how important the culture is, and you spoke about that at length in your press conference earlier today that we were able to carry and listen in. And I'm just trying to get a visual of what that locker room can look like, because it needs to be reestablished. It was the envy of the league for about 20 years. Yeah. It took a hit last year. Yeah. How do you go about restructuring that?
Yeah, no, and the good thing is I'm not by myself, and I mentioned it too. I still believe we have a really good core of players, and I talked to all of them, all right? I talked to all of them, but right away I can tell they have the Bruins DNA. So it's not like I'm going to start from scratch. No. I think that leadership group, I think that I'm going to work closely together, right? Those guys have to drive that bus, and I need them, and we need them. And starts with preparation, starts with even practice, right? It starts training camp. Those are the things I'm going to be the front runner, but I also need those guys. And when they do that, you know what? It's going to trickle, because it's the young guys will follow, all right? And that's how I learned here as a young guy. That's how I learned from older guys. That's probably you learn from.
That's right.
Some from different guys too. That's just the way it is. But somebody has to do it. And I felt like, yes, there was a lot of injuries last year, but it kind of, got forgotten a little bit, the pride, the energy, what you have to bring in every day for the Bruins.
So one of the things that Brick talked about, just how much the culture was the envy here in Boston around the National Hockey League, and you were part of that almost from the get-go when Patrice Bergeron was first coming into the organization. Zdeno Chara was signed as a free agent. You were already here at that point. But one of the things that, whether it was Claude Julien or subsequent coaches, they never felt like that they had to exert themselves, that they felt like the room ran itself. I guess now, in the position that the Bruins are in, do you feel like you have to have a little bit more influence in the room with some of the changes that have taken place?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a new guy, and I have different thoughts and different ideas how I want to approach things, and these guys are so used to from I'm not saying the same. They have 4 different coaches. I know it's different, but on the other side, it was kind of like the same. Like the way they played. So it's going to be just a refreshing a little bit. It's going to be a little different, but But end of the day, yeah, no, I definitely, have to put my foot down here right away from the start because I don't want any gray area in my game. You can't think about that, right? So it's going to be, with me, it's going to be very clear the way I wanted to play, the way I want to, see us going moving forward. I think the one thing I learned, I stick with the process. There will be some up and downs, but you got to stick with it, though. And that's going to be, I think, will be the challenging thing too. Especially with media and everything like that. So it's going to be different, but you got to stick with it, and that's why. As I mentioned it today, it's not just me. I need more than that. I need my staff. I need my players, because we all have to chip in.
One of the other topics I think that was pretty prominent in today's media session was offense and evolving the offense. And without getting into X's and O's on how you do it, and I know you talked about, it starts in your own zone. I mean, that's how you get a better offense. That's how you get out of your own end. I understand all that. But how difficult as a head coach in the NHL is it to teach offense?
Yeah, no, it's the funny part is, and I saw it with my kids. I'm telling it was my kids, like my Ontario Reign kids. I call the kids. I saw them with them like, okay, do you actually want to score? That was one of the questions I always had with them, because you got to show me. All right, when you're in the offensive zone, you can have the best structure you want, all right, but show me. Show me that you want to score. Show me that you want that puck. You got to show me that you want to be front of the net and work for it. All right, I think that alone, that mentality, you got to have. And if you look at perfect example yesterday again, or even the finals, if you look at the Florida Panthers right now, right, they go to the net, right, and not just one guy. They got everyone, and they go to the net. They throw pucks to the net. Different ways to do it, but they're hungry, And that just alone, I think that's something I noticed from the younger generation. I think from the last 3 years, and that's something I'm gonna have a different mindset. I'm gonna try to teach it. I'm gonna show it, and I gotta pretty much tell them every day too. It's just part of the job.
Part of this summer obviously has to be, and you mentioned it, that you've already had some conversations with a lot of veteran guys, but how important will be for you to make those connections between now and the start of training camp so they're able to execute the things that you want?
No, communication for me, it's always a big thing, and you got to have a good relationship, and it starts right now, right? And that's why I was calling a lot of guys, and even a lot of guys actually reached out too. So it was a little bit of combo, so it was nice to see. Guys are really excited. I think everyone is ready for a little bit of change, and but again, it is important, because end of the day, I want the best out of my players, and I think when you have an open relationship and be fair, but also honest, I think you will get that, and again, it goes back to that leadership group, because those are the guys, and it starts with them.
One of the aspects of a team that's in a rebuild or a retool to get back to being a competitive playoff team and a team that's going to challenge for the Cup, you have to have young guys mature, develop, and become key players in your lineup on a regular basis each night and help you win a lot of hockey games.
Yeah.
That is going to be one of the challenges that you face with some of the young players that the Bruins have on the roster right now. How do you go about getting the most out of those guys? Because you have coming from a player development side. Yeah,
and again, you have to pick them up right away, I think, those guys. You got to build that relationship right away with them. And again, those, unfortunately, we don't have too many, right? I think Don Sweeney's working on it right now. I think it's really exciting, actually, to have lots of picks coming up the next 3 years, but it's going to take time. So for me, I don't have that time, but I also, I'm going to focus on the guys we have in our recurring lineup. And again, those guys, they got to earn it too, first of all. But on the other side, we got to help them. I got to help them to get to the next level. And I think in the past, I've proven this is one of the things I like to do, I enjoy to do, working with those young kids.
Patrice Bergeron talked about how helpful you were to him when his NHL career was still in its infancy, and I'm curious what your message was to Bergie then, and will it mirror some of the message that you're going to convey to some of these young players now?
Yeah, I mean, and believe it or not, I was actually a quiet guy, in the locker room. Even when I played, I was very quiet. I think coaching changed me a little bit. Now I gotta, I gotta talk and talk and talk. But what I did, I think most importantly, I lead with example, right? And I again, he was sitting right beside me the 5-6 years I was here. I think he saw me preparing every day, take care of my body, how I treat every practice like a game, with lots of energy, lots of pride, lots of emotions, and I think we just feed off each other. And I think he just by doing that, just by watching me, I think he would hopefully agree. He would see that.
One of the words that Don Sweeney used a couple times when people asked him what was important to him in finding a coach, and also how you stood out of 14 candidates. That's a lot of candidates to be interviewing.
Yeah.
He used the word the path. The path that he took was very important to me. Anyone could look up your resume. We know it. A very fantastic resume, starting with Team Germany, like you said, when you really fell in love with coaching. But I'm just curious, not from a technical standpoint what your resume looks like, but more emotional and mental, what that learning curve, what that path was that Don saw that you are ready for this job right now.
Yeah, no, I took a little bit a different route, right? I took it a little bit the harder way, but again, I had to know too where I'm at as a coach. What do I, what are my goals? And I think, yes, with the German national team, I came over, but even in LA as assistant coach, I think it took me a year or two. Okay, what exactly what I want to do, right? Do I want to be a head coach or more like assistant for 20 more years? But soon, really soon, I thought, okay, no, I head coach, that's me. I'm a way better head coach than assistant. I'm not gonna lie, but this is me, and that's why. And then the job came up in Ontario, and that's why there was no question. I said, I'm gonna chase my goal. To be a head coach here in the National Hockey Team, and I'm talking to a few people, only a few, and they advised me that's the way you have to go. And for me, it was a no-brainer, and I didn't care if I have to drive the bus for 20 hours. I didn't really care, and again, I wanted to do that. I even left my family at home, so that even alone I think shows a lot that I had something in mind and I wanted to chase, and it's nice to get rewarded.
I think we have a pretty good handle on Marco Sturm, the man.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to get to the essence of your coaching philosophy, if I can. I don't know if you can express it in a short amount of time, but people would say, well, goaltending, team defense, strength down the middle. Do you still believe in those three pillars, or has the game changed? The essence of your coaching philosophy is different.
Yeah, no, I mean a lot the same, but a lot different, or new, or whatever you want to call it. But I think the defensive part of the game, I think that it's really strong in me. I think that's something we built here, and they still have it, and that's something I don't want to lose. I believe in playing good defense that creates lots of offense as well, right? Do we want to spend too much time in our own zone? No, we don't. But I think that's the part now where I jump in now, or this new generation of coaches, when you get the puck, all right, what are you going to do about it? Are you just gonna play slow, or are you gonna play with pace and having that mindset right away to be ahead of some other teams? All right, I think that's something I'm big on. Transition game, I would say, and then to work towards entries in ozone. All right, and again, ozone, we touched on it a little bit. Being more hungry around the net and finding ways to score. But I think overall, if you look at the games right now, in today's game, it's I call it the long game, right? It's a transition game. It's a neutral zone game a little bit. And again, I think that's something we can definitely improve.
Marco, one of the things that you talked about was Daryl Sutter, Claude Julien, the impression that they made on you. But if I look across your 900-plus game NHL career, you played for some strong personalities, whether it was Daryl or Ron Wilson, Mike Sullivan, Alain Vigneault, Claude Julien, we mentioned in there as well. But what do you find yourself taking from those guys specifically where you're like, wow, I'm going to employ this. Maybe you employed it as an assistant coach with the Kings or in the American Hockey League as a head coach with the Reign.
Yeah, you always want to get the good things out of those coaches who you think who are the best. And for me, Claude and I mentioned it before, Daryl Sutter were the best. So that's the old school mentality, being very honest, but also hard and fair. I think that's something definitely in me. And the other part, I've seen it with some different coaches too, but I think the other part is it's me. That's who I am. I think that makes me maybe not unique, but that makes me, I think, a good coach, right? And I had Nate Thompson. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Nate Thompson. He was one of my assistant coaches last year, and in Ontario. And he came in one day, and I have to share that story. He came in one day, and it's like. Because we played the same system as the Kings, right? Or we tried to, let's put it that way. But he knows, because sitting beside me every day in the coach's room, he knew my thoughts, right? How I want to play. And he came in, he's like, just be you, right? Just be you, because you're better than anyone else. And that's exactly what I did. And just after that moment, I think I really realized that I'm actually really good too. So I have my own thoughts, my own ideas. Yes, I learned a lot from other coaches, but that alone, that conversation with Nate Thompson came a long way.
You've had some already very clippable and quotable moments saying, just be you, and this is me. And one of them we wanted to focus on is when you said, this means more, referring into your position with the Boston Bruins. You said, you had your experience with the San Jose Sharks, and then the timing is everything. Can you expand on the this means more outside of what it means to your family, what it means because this is a city that you obviously embraced you and that you spent time with, but that this means more? Is it just where you are in your life right now as well?
How much time do we have?
I think like 2 minutes.
Okay.
But okay. It's longer. It's longer than that, I'm sure.
Yeah, to keep it short, it's a combination of everything. I'm a big family guy. It's about my family. They absolutely love this city. They grew up here. They had good memories. Now we all meet again here because my kids are in colleges around here. So you can't write a better script, right? The other part is just the memories I had when I played here, the success we had, building something, even with the fans in the back, like it was just incredible, right? And now even here, me as a coach. So, I talked about the timing, where we at as a team right now. And it just, also the age, I'm 46 years old, but the path I went, the last 7 years, really took my time to really, get the job at the right time. It just, I don't know, it doesn't feel real yet, but I feel like it all came together at the right time, at the right spot. Mm-hmm. And that's why, as soon as I saw Don Sweeney, I was like, oh my God, this is exciting. And that's why I was really hard on it. I pushed it probably through my presentations. I had the interviews a little bit harder because of it,
Yeah, it sounds like what I love, and I love it. There's so much intentionality behind your path and your journey. You didn't follow into it. Like you said, there's some sacrifices leaving your family. Very intentional. We have about a minute left, and so not a lot to give an answer. If you don't mind me just throwing in, you mentioned this leadership group and this core, Marco, but no named captain for now. Is that going to affect things for you with how more vocal you are in the room?
Yeah, no, I mean, end of the day, I even told Don that, end of the day, I do want a captain. Doesn't have to be right now, but I think we touched on it a little bit, not too much. I think moving forward, we're going to have more conversation about it. But the other thing you got to know is I don't actually, I seen the Pasternak and the McAvoy and Lindholm. I seen him play, but I don't really know him as a person. So I think having that chance just to meet him and be around him, and I think that then I can actually tell management what I think. But as of right now, I think it's a little bit too early. I don't know yet what they think, but those conversation definitely will come up this summer.